It says right here, this is gonna be fire. Gonna is completely inappropriate to use, but fire, well, I mean, we can use it for fire. Yep. This is just, oh. I know y'all don't want me to, but I feel so bad for Amy. Is her name Amy? Mac, to attach herself to this. What I don't understand, did Fancy see her kill somebody or something? Because that is the only way I can imagine why she would get involved with this piece of... Hello everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. Now, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel, The Cutting Board. We do all kinds of things here. We do food-related content, shopping hauls, true crime, DIY, SFX makeup, regular makeup, vlogs, discussion, and most importantly, at least to me, Disney content. So in this video, I can finally do a full, honest review of Fancy or April John's book, Cawing Out Truth. It's so hard to say. Or Cawing Out the Truth. It's still unclear. The cover says Cawing Out Truth, and a seasoned reader might assume that that's the actual title. The actual title is like 11 sentences long, but that's the crux of it. But I'm going to try for you all. That's all I can do is try to review this book. Now, of course, April may say, we just don't get it because we're stupid and we don't understand her art. Well, okay, art's a strong word. Book describing this thing as a strong word. So think if a developmental editor, a therapist, and a roast comedian walked into a bar with this manuscript. Just imagine that. So here it is. Cawing Out Truth, a true crime memoir roast of My Time to Stand. But the first thing about that title on the cover is she says, from the people she forgot to mention. Who is she? Yeah, sure, most of us know it's Gypsy Rose, but what about the reader that doesn't know it's Gypsy Rose? Who is she? Tell us who she is. Who wrote My Time to Stand? You know, you're given a lot of words, but not much information. And that's basically what I can say about the whole book. A lot of words, not much information. But this is a review by someone who genuinely tried to understand what the hell just happened. So this book is dense, erratic, and deeply self-indulgent in its style, reading more like an unedited experimental performance piece than a cohesive memoir or work of true crime commentary. It attempts to combine poetic expression, satire, legal analysis, and trauma narrative. But instead of blending harmoniously, the result is chaotic, disoriented, and largely inaccessible to even advanced readers. She includes correspondence to herself from Dee Dee Blanchard. It's over the top with the self-indulgence. It really is. And what kills me is she drug this woman through the mud. Fancy Maselli, April Johns, whatever you want to call her, drug Dee Dee Blanchard through the mud until the Blanchard family said get lost. And then it's all, you know, this is a personal vendetta. And this book, as far as I'm concerned, proves this whole thing is just a personal vendetta. First impressions. This book didn't just want to tell a story. No, I'm not sure it wanted to tell a story at all. It wanted to reinvent language itself, possibly overthrow the English department, and then file an emotional lawsuit against reality, really. I mean, by page 3, I think, because there are no page numbers at all, there's a table of contents with page numbers, but there are no page numbers on the actual pages. But I was equal parts intrigued and begging for a translator, but I don't know what translator I would need. You know, a book is intense when you're 3 sentences in and already Googling, can you get a concussion from metaphors, especially poorly written metaphors. And I don't mean intense like A Clockwork Orange is intense. I mean intense as in mind-numbingly awful, as in getting hit in the head by an anvil. The voice behind it is unintelligible and seemingly lost. You can feel the author straining to articulate pain, anger, and moral outrage through metaphor and art. But the execution buries those emotions under layers of obscure phrasing. Theatrical, self-reference, again, self-indulgence, and inconsistent formatting. The formatting is awful, and it's not Amazon's fault. But anyway, it ultimately obstructs meaning. No, not obstruct, that's not the right word. Obliterate before it can even exist. Now the structure, or the abstract art of filing a story. These authors chose to format this like a legal document meets a fever dream on acid. Filed by, filed under, realm, etc. It's part court case, part seance, part avant-garde slam poetry night where the judge is also the defendant, witness, and stenographer. I feel like April should be reciting this while playing hacky sack in an all-black turtleneck jumpsuit while I drink pretentious coffee in a dark corner somewhere. In theory, it's stupid. In practice, it's like trying to read an IRS audit written by Edgar Allan Poe after 3 Red Bulls and an existential crisis. It's insanity. Again, the book is framed like a case file or legal proceeding with recurrent headings such as, again, filed by, filed under, and realm. Those were used a lot. This is a fascinating concept on paper. In practice, it's confusing and pointless. The legal structure never solidifies into a consistent narrative. Logic, sometimes, I don't know, it mimics court documents. Other times, it drifts into abstract monologues that feel almost hallucinatory. Yeah, this book should be illegal because it may cause hallucinations. There is no clear through line or traditional narrative arc, no stable sense of beginning, middle, or end. Instead, the text loops through metaphors, the garden, the mirror, the crow, the courtroom, the pill bottle. It's insane. And they often repeat without forward movement. For a reader, this creates cognitive overload. You keep waiting for clarity, for the real story to break through, to even begin. It rarely does. It doesn't, actually. It feels like being stuck inside someone's fever dream of trauma. It's like car sickness. It's like where reality and metaphor blur until neither carries any kind of emotional impact or meaning anymore. There's nothing. There's no plot anchor, no clear timeline whatsoever, and every page, with no page numbers, by the way, feels like an entirely new dimension. You keep waiting for a narrator to appear and explain what the hell is going on. But instead, you get another metaphor about a crow testifying in a mirror. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And what's with the crows? What is with the crows? Now, I adore crows myself. I think they're adorable. But as far as literary symbolism, or entertainment-wise, anyone see The Omen Part 2? In Western folklore, crows are often seen as harbingers of death or tragedy. People used to think a crow's caw near you meant, or near your house meant, someone would die, doom, something terrible was going to happen. Death of the crops. They're linked to witches, the underworld, and dark magic in European and early American folklore. In some stories, crows are deceitful or mischievous, clever but morally gray. That's not nice. Basically, they became the black cats of the bird world, misunderstood and blamed for bad luck. But I guess I don't really understand their use in the context of this thing she's calling a book. This book is a strong word. But they can also be a symbol of justice and truth, which I think might be what she's trying to get at with this, but it would probably make sense in this book itself if the book actually made sense. Now, the writing style. The good news, there's an attempt, albeit weak, at artistry here. There is an attempt. It's ChatGPT's attempt, but an attempt. Some lines genuinely crackle with originality. If you squint through the chaos, you catch flashes of something. The bad news, the rest reads like Shakespeare, Kafka, and your least favorite philosophy professor got trapped in a blender together. The sentences are long, like Tolstoy, but on edibles long. Tolstoy can get away with long sentences, not April Johns. At one point, I started a sentence, blinked, and realized I'd forgotten where it began, or like who I was. I considered calling a friend to tell them that I loved them, just in case I didn't make it out. This book feels like it was written during an exorcism. In fact, it may well have been. It may well have been written during an exorcism. If not, maybe we should call a priest to take care of this problem. Every paragraph is fighting to get something out, but never does. The syntax keeps trying to crawl back in. It's like a horror movie. The prose veers between pretentious and unintentionally unreadable. Long, winding sentences suffocate the page. Clauses stack without punctuation or logical sequence. There's no reasoning. Imagery is sometimes powerful, but often overwrought with mixed metaphors layered so thickly that the underlying meaning is completely lost. In fact, I don't even know that there really is any underlying meaning. Gosh. The tone oscillates wildly between something like sarcasm, bad poetry, spiritual testimony, and court transcript parody. The effect is exhausting. It is like getting car sickness. It really is. You can't settle into a rhythm because every few lines the book redefines its own genre. It's like reading Bronte written by a beatnik channeling legal jargon and biblical lament all at once. It's, like I said, it's crazy. It's insanity. You know that one friend who cries, laughs, and lectures you about moral philosophy, like all in the same breath? You know that friend, right? That's this book. That is this book. 1 second, it's a courtroom allegory. The next, it's a gothic sermon. Then a true crime takedown. Then a haiku about trauma and birds, and a sonnet and whatever the hell else you can think of. It's like emotional whiplash via word processor. It's insanity. I know I keep saying that, but it is. And I don't even say that to be mean. I don't. Simply put, this book is nearly impenetrable. It could be a fortress. Even for an advanced reader, it demands constant decoding. You spend more time trying to interpret what the author meant than engaging with what they're actually saying. And that should not be what the reading experience is like. The text also suffers from serious mechanical issues, missing punctuation or erratic capitalization. It shatters flow. The visual layout is a disaster. Inconsistent spacing, symbols, weird fonts, and paragraph breaks. And my God, that pirate font. Ugh. And it's all confusing. It reads like a rough manuscript that was never proofed or formatted. And I don't think it ever was. It wasn't proofed or formatted for publication. Even if the style is intentionally chaotic, presentation matters. And here, the chaos feels unintentional and unfiltered and like someone that wanted a quick buck. Cawing Out Truth isn't a book you read. It's a book you survive. It's not about finding meaning. And maybe it is, but I couldn't find it. It's about escaping with your sanity intact and bragging rights that you made it to the end. I didn't make it to the very end. It's an experiment in terror. It is. It's an experiment in terror. Next time, maybe let an editor in the room before the seance begins. Copy editor. You could hire one for a few $100. The title, Cawing Out Truth, becomes unintentionally ironic because the author tried to use AI to caw out truth, but what came out was a digital echo chamber, a nightmare, a simulation of truth, stripped of real blood and bone. It was just... She did not put blood, sweat, and tears into this. She did not. It's kind of poetic in its own tragic way, a book about truth written mostly by an algorithm trained to sound truthful. At the end of the day, this isn't so much a book as it is a case study in what happens when AI tries to process human trauma without a soul. It's ambitious, yes, but it's because she wants coin. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about the final product. If she did, she would have never allowed a piece of crap like this to go out. Readable? No, not remotely. It's not readable. Fascinating in the same way you can't look away from a lava lamp that's also having a nervous breakdown, you know? Ambitious in concept, catastrophic in execution, and she doesn't care. Cawing Out Truth proves that artificial intelligence can mimic passion, but not meaning. It's all smoke and mirrors and misplaced metaphors all throughout it. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say about it. Some people say, oh, you're so mean, you're so judgmental. I'm reviewing the book, and this is the book review. This is what you're getting from me. And you want to read the book? Read it, and then come back to me and tell me how you feel. And don't say, oh, I got every word of it. I totally understood it, because there's no way you did. But let me advise you, just keep some Advil or Tylenol on hand and maybe a bottle of wine. But anyway, that's all for now. I will talk to everyone later. Bye-bye.